Hi, welcome to the third part of the lecture and of capitalism and its alternatives. And last time we were talking about on the collapse hypothesis, and I will talk a little bit more on the collapse hypothesis. I have talked previously when we are coming to the point of collapse, we will actually recognize that we are actually close to the collapse. And actually, there's a paper which is in the readings, which is actually also telling you on the point mathematically find how the system end up in collapse in terms of, the profit rates as profit rates goes lower and lower in the end. Basically, there won't be any profit left in the system. Although there could be an argument just mathematically, the profits are just getting closer and closer to zero, but never below zero. But as we have told, close enough to zero might also be a problem. But the main point is, well, there are some counter tendencies like the monopolization, which might work. Theoretically, all the way up to the point when you have only one company left in the world. And we should note that in the end, the most important condition of, let's say, an actual collapse of capitalism, however desperate the system is, however bad the situation is, which kind of in the world, in different countries, people from different countries, I have talked like this, ask that question. Capitalist system might not be functioning that well now. However well it might have functioned before. Maybe today we might be thinking about alternative systems. People all over the world are open to that. As far as I can talk, I can tell you. However, what is the alternative is the question. And in order to have an alternative, according to Marx, the next alternative, of course, in order to be able to overcome capitalist system, in order to be able to get a more developed version, developed social system, a better social system, you need to have the organizational level of the workforce should be sufficiently sophisticated. And here we don't talk about the national labor force, the organization level or coordination or mutual understanding of the national labor force. We are talking global. So the global labor force should be able to connect it enough, be able to work enough with each other to able to create a collapse. And the economic system itself is actually, according to Marx, is teaching and will teach them to do so. So that's according to Marx the main point of the collapse. And we might maybe add some additional things. For example, are we now able to, for example, coordinate world economic system without the market as a material social structure created by current system? Do we have anything else to guide us besides the price? Even the alternatives to the price-based valuation systems like GDP, also based on price. So if we don't have any price system left, basically we won't have any basic economic measurement for now. Which we might try actually. We might try to find some alternative measurements of price, and there are some methods that are tried but not developed enough for now. So this is another factor. And maybe the third thing might be where capitalist system tells us to direct the production according to the demand of the people. Of course, here demand is more important. Demand of the people with more income is more valuable. But instead of setting some minimum standards which are coming from historical conditions and background, and a kind of let's say praising stability, or basically more like trying to maintain the status quo and developing while maintaining the status quo after meeting certain crises where you need to develop status quo to overcome the crisis. So you also bring the society to a new stage, which might be a good and only way to move on at the time when civilization is limited to a more limited area, and there were many crises outside and inside which could break the civilization. I mean, the cities, the towns. In that case, maintaining status quo might be the best strategy in many ways. But the capitalist system, as I said, has created in a way the way to improve the production, to maximize individual profits of the producers by taking into account the individual wants and needs that could be expressed with the individual demand for commodities by paying money for them. The main question is, of course, going one step further would maybe need, can we basically think about social needs and still preserve, our production that is directed to the individual needs, but also consider about the social needs? So can we organize economic system at social level to serve to them individual and social needs better by not instead of letting individual producers make the decisions and modify or improve their production individually, instead deciding socially how to improve whole structure, how to direct resources in the whole system collectively. So those are the questions, and mainly, just like the case of feudal system in, let's say, 13th and 12th and 13th century, which might be maybe at that time that system was the best system possible under those conditions. Up to a certain point, existing system might still be the best system that could stand. So when will be another system possible, and when will be that other system, let's say, has potential to create a better society, and however better can be defined, serving the needs of the people more, and basically organize the labor force maybe in a better way. Anyway, so but coming back again, collapse hypothesis in the end rests on the two things: whether the internal conditions, internal problems of capitalism becomes unbearable, but more important to that, the global labor force is sufficiently organized, coordinated, and develop a mutual understanding so that they can govern the world economic system together, collectively. That's one thing. Actually, this third idea might actually create a modification of the second idea. The first idea is, on the other hand, possibility of restoration. So here the question is, can capitalist system be restored? Can capitalist system continuously create new and more developed versions of the capitalist system? itself, let's say. And especially in the 19th century, the development of social democratic movements by one of the Engels' friends, actually, Bernstein, was actually kind of asking this question. I mean, he was very, for all reasons, Marxist, but he also asked whether capitalist system has developed into something better, improving the workers' working conditions and basically the also controlling the producers' capitalists more with regulations, to some extent also environmental regulations, for example, at local level, like preventing the pollution of Thames River, preventing child labor, providing minimum wage, reducing the working hours. So that's the question: whether capitalist system can be restored. It can be restored with a modification of the existing rules, so that new capitalist era is prepared and better capitalist era will be prepared each time. Can it be restored by some innovations which might maybe allow capitalist systems problems to be solved for a time, and then they reappear, then a new innovation comes, then it will be solved again. So, and if capitalist system always able to recreate itself, can we say that whether capitalist system is always creating a better version of itself? We have already discussed this to some extent, and world system theory also has this idea internally, by the way. We had British capitalist system, and we then have the US capitalist system. Maybe after US capitalist system, we might have a better capitalist system, a new, organized by a new country. We will see that view in a minute also. So this was another legitimate option, whether capitalist system is able to restore itself continuously. And long wave theory, this going down and up and down and up always, kind of might lead us to this view also. I mean, we have regular eras where capitalist system creates increasing problems, but then we have some eras where capitalist system is able to manage to recreate itself and solve this problem, and then the problems start again, and then it comes to a crisis moment where capitalist system restores and recreates itself again into another version of capitalist system. So this is the second option. And then we have the third option. This is pretty much developed by Lenin. That's the idea of the revolutionary moments. Well, Lenin said capitalist system continuously creates moments where workers are relatively more open to organization. They start to question the system. And the system itself is very fragile because the increasing problems has created friction and competition and friction and even enmity, that is one being enemy of the other, between the capitalists and maybe the politicians and the capitalists, also the other people who are controlling the political system. So the capitalist class is at its weakest, the system is at its weakest points, and the people who can potentially be organized to create a new system will be at their strongest point. But this won't automatically turn capitalist system into a better system, according to Lenin. Rather, this creates a moment of opportunity to do that. And this moment of opportunity can only be used if you have a political organization, that's party, the vanguard party, which is actually kind of the party that leads the people, which should be sufficiently organized, which should previously organize a certain section of labor, a small section, but 10% or 15%, but that section will help organization of the rest of the workforce at the time of crisis. That would lead the workers and basically into turning the capitalist system into a better system. Anyway,